Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we are going to talk about potentially a huge problem for LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, and why, if this turns out to be true, quite frankly, it is unacceptable from TT Games in 2021. But before we jump into this discussion, Andreas, I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Do you need a vacation?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. I've been working real hard.
Then why don't you visit the beautiful planet of Trandosha, home of our official sponsor and bounty hunter, Bosk.
You are a slippery opponent. Stay your savage tongue.
Wow, Bosk, thanks. That vacation was awesome. It's that time. We have to talk about this. Multiplayer in LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. We've all been skirting around it. Nobody really wants to talk about it because we're afraid of what the answer might be. But in this video, we're really going to just show all of you everything that we have at this point. What are the legitimate leads as to whether there is going to be multiplayer or not, and what are our thoughts about it. Nick, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I think it's important to note why this is so important. I think it's obvious how important this is to both you and I, Andreas, because we were hoping to explore the galaxy, this huge universe that they have put together in online multiplayer. However, there is some evidence out there suggesting that this might not be the case, and if this is true, if it turns out that online multiplayer is not in LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, honestly, that's just unacceptable at this point. That is not something that can happen in 2021. It is just, we are too advanced as a society to not have online multiplayer in our games like this and to only have couch co-op. Because the way the world is right now with COVID and lockdowns in certain places across the globe, there are places where couch co-op is just simply not even a possibility. Online multiplayer is something that needs to be in this game. Now, what is the evidence we have? Well, there are a few interviews dating back to E3 in 2019 when this game was first announced that kind of give us a little bit of a look into how they are going about the multiplayer in this game. The first interview I want to point to is from a place called Dual Shockers, where they sat down with James McLaughlin and Arthur Parsons of TT Games at the time, and they asked them some questions about the game after the E3 showing. And I think the most important part to the context of this video here is this little section where they ask, is there co-op? And Arthur Parsons says, yeah, there's co-op. And then he asks the follow-up question, local and online, and he follows up with, we've got couch co-op. So they are adamant about couch co-op. They did not want to answer the online multiplayer question. Now, there's another interview here, isn't there, Andreas?
Yes, there is actually another interview from the same exact year, 2019, same convention, E3, same person, James McLaughlin. This interview was with Kotaku, and they wrote an article about this interaction with James McLaughlin. What they had to say was that because of the new camera controls, the view will be split even during levels. Given all this rethinking and the formula, might they finally add online co-op? Quote from James McLaughlin, "We have new technology."
We have technology.
It didn't work.
McLaughlin said, stopping right there as if he'd rehearsed for that question. He would not say more. So, on the one hand, you had James McLaughlin saying, we have technology, kind of teasing we might actually have this online capability. And then on the other hand, you have that interview that Nick is talking about where they more plainly state, we've got split screen here. So, I think the long and short of this is that from 2019, which is now years, multiple ago, they didn't really have a online multiplayer plan for this game. So is it really realistic to expect a bona fide, realistic multiplayer at launch for this game? Or is this just a pipe dream at this point? And are we all set up to be disappointed with this thing?
Well, one thing that we do know right now, if you take a look at the Steam page right now, you look at LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga's page on Steam, you will see the modes that are listed are a single-player mode and a shared split-screen co-op mode. Now, of course, that could be Steam going off older information. We are not sure because, again, TT Games has not talked about multiplayer in any regard over the last few years in this game. We really, when you think about it, don't know a whole lot about this game. So for all we know, they have indeed been working on a multiplayer mode for this game over the course of these delays since it's been delayed so much. But there is nothing indicating that that is indeed the point or that is indeed the case. And again, if this game doesn't have an online multiplayer, that's just simply unacceptable in current day society. There needs to be a multiplayer in this game. That is something that needs to be added. If it's not in at launch, it's something that needs to be added after the fact. Because if you think about it, sure, there are a few workarounds to this whole thing. I know PC has some workarounds with Discord and a couple other options. And I know, of course, Andreas, on PlayStation, we could do the share play and we could do the virtual couch co-op. However, the problem with those solutions is at that point you are only progressing one person's game. So when you go back and play on your own game, you have not progressed your character at all. You haven't progressed at all in the story. You basically haven't played the game. So there are some workarounds to this, but there's also a lot of negatives to these workarounds that just simply shouldn't be a problem in 2021. This is not something we should be worried about or something we should be even thinking about, because if you're going to make a game this big, right? This is supposed to be the biggest LEGO game, the biggest LEGO Star Wars game, the way to explore the Skywalker Saga like never before. Why in the hell would you wait and just use a local couch co-op? Why would you not have an online multiplayer? That makes no sense to me, especially since there are other LEGO games that have multiplayer. And the upcoming LEGO Star Wars game, the Castaways game, which I know is not a TT game, but is still a LEGO Star Wars game, is centered around multiplayer. So they obviously know that they need to have multiplayer options with their LEGO Star Wars games. This just makes no sense to me. Maybe it is not fair to be getting upset at them right now because we don't know for sure, but all of the smoke says that it's not happening, at least at launch.
Yeah, I mean, it's really disappointing if it is the case, and a lot of people's counter-argument to this is going to be, well, TT Games, they're just not set up for it. They don't have the capability to make a online game, let alone make a game at all recently, how it has taken them 3 years to put this game together. But like you said, Nick, there have been games in the past that TT Games have made, set aside Castaways for a second. LEGO Worlds had online multiplayer in it, and it worked just fine. I know that's kind of a hit or miss game, but it shows that online multiplayer was on TT Games' radar. Speaking of TT Games' radar, we all remember those reports that TT Games was looking to hire developers that are experienced in creating online experiences for their player base in upcoming LEGO games. I feel like TT Games is a little late to the punch here, and you have to look back in time and really think about, as a business sitting in 2018 or 2017, kind of mapping out this Skywalker Saga game, looking at this next gen over the horizon. Do we want to do the same old co-op, or do we want to step into the next generation with something that gets people buzzed about our game, that gets people playing together across boundaries? I don't know what they were thinking if they did from the outset dispel online multiplayer and expect to show up to E3 2019 and just kind of, play coy the whole time and say we might have something, we might not have something. I don't know what the game plan was, if there was one at all, but if I were developing this game, I would have challenged myself from the outset to advertise multiplayer and make an effort towards making that a necessary component of the game. Think about it. If they had a well-oiled and working multiplayer mode, wouldn't that be at the forefront of their advertising, that you can finally explore an open world in LEGO with your friends online on the next generation of consoles? That is something I would advertise. Ask yourselves this: why aren't they advertising it? I honestly think it's an answer we don't want to have. I think it's because they simply don't have it, at least right now, when they're worrying about getting this game together. But honestly, Nick, nail on the head. It is absolutely unacceptable that they're working on this game for so long, and at the end of the tunnel, we're going to be left with a next generation game that doesn't have basic next generation features like online multiplayer.
Yeah, I definitely think for sure, if this is the case, if online multiplayer does not end up in this game, which again, it is not confirmed one way or another, this is just us trying to bring attention to the fact that this is something that needs to be in this game, and it is something that just really hasn't been talked about that much, if at all, over the last few years by the community or by any of the developers. We just really want to bring attention to this because it is something that is really important to us and something that we know is really important to a lot of our viewers and a lot of people in the community. So we're just trying to call to action here for online multiplayer. But if it is not in this game, you are totally shooting yourselves in the foot. Why even develop a game of this magnitude and of this size if you're not even going to let people explore it with their friends online? Because not everybody can get together and do couch co-op. Andreas and I live a couple thousand miles away from each other. We can't just drive over to each other's house and play couch co-op. That's just something that's not realistic for us, and it's something that's not realistic for a lot of people out there. So at the end of the day, I hope this is something that TT Games just considers, and at some point, if it's not at launch, hopefully sometime post-launch pretty soon, they are able to get an online multiplayer feature into LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Let us know down below in the comments, what do you think? Do you think LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga will have online multiplayer at launch? Do you think that it should have online multiplayer? Or are you completely comfortable with this game being more of that local couch co-op and kind of single-player experience, or just with some friends and family that come over to your house to play the game? Like I said, let us know down below in the comments. If you are new to the channel, we are almost to 2,000 subscribers. We're roughly 50 or so away last time we checked, so we are so close. If you're new, we would love to have you join. The way to do that is just go down below this video, hit that little subscribe button, the bell notification right on next to it. I know it would make Bosk really happy, as it would make us pretty happy. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button. It just lets us know that you enjoy the content that we are putting out there. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all next time.